Hey folks, I'm going to show you some of these plants that are in the hill garden blooming in early June, and I'm going to tell you why you should grow them too. These are important native plants that you really should be growing. So stay tuned. Thanks. Okay, so here's a combination in early June. These are native Coreopsis. I believe they're lance leaf Coreopsis. They just came up by themselves. I did not plant them here. And behind them are oxeye daisies. And that is not a native plant, but I didn't plant these here either. They just come up. And these don't live long, a couple of years, and then they die, but they reseed themselves all over the place. And I let some grow. And they do get pollinators on them. The pollinators use them. But I just think this is a pretty combination, and this is a combination nature did, because these are plants that I didn't put here. You know, I just took out all the mugwort, the invasive species, and lots of plants just grew. And I put deer repellent down because otherwise the deer would eat both of these. And it looks pretty. This is a lance leaf Coreopsis and oxeye daisies. I'll put the botanical names and Latin names in the video. Okay, this guy I did plant, he's a really deep blue. I think the species normally not quite this blue, but I bought it as straight Baptisia australis, native plant, absolutely gorgeous, and it's a host plant for some moths, so it provides caterpillars and some pollen. Somebody's flying around it. Oh, we got a little skipper right on it. See if we can get him. So as you can see, the skippers like it. I'm going to tell you what skipper that is once I look it up, because I'm not great with skippers. There he is. Oh, it's a female. I know what it is. I think it's a Zabuan, but I have to look it up. Come on, get in focus. So as you can see, it's a good pollen plant, an early pollen plant, and the early butterflies need it. So that's, proof right there. Plant some native plants, please. Get outside, get some exercise, look things up, learn stuff, use your brain, don't get dementia. Have a great retirement. Okay, let's see what else we can find. So this is Thermopsis. I'm not sure what the species name is. I could look it up. But this is a plant. I got some seeds from the garden. Someone actually gave me some seeds, and you need to scarify them first. In other words, you need to break the coating. So I put them in sandpaper and rub them back and forth. And then I did winter stratify them too. In other words, I planted them in the early winter and let them stay out all winter, and then they sprouted in the spring. So these plants, this is this the second or the third year? I'm not really sure, but they're just beautiful. And every year they'll get bigger and bigger. They make a big taproot. Once you plant them, you have to leave them. It's really hard to move. I just had a bumblebee on one, but this is Thermopsis, and this is what you can do in a busy. There's a bumblebee now. Oh, a little bee anyway. So you can do in a county park. It's a busy county park, but I got permission, and there's a bumblebee. And it's a nice sunny place. I can grow all these plants. There's a little sweat bee. I don't know if he's coming out. So cute. Here's the bumblebee. He has to work to get this pollen because these are pea-type flowers, a little funky. But that's a brown-belted bumblebee, which is not uncommon, but all bumblebees are declining anyway. So anything you can do to help them is good. This is Thermopsis. There's a little flower fly on this one. Yeah, the pollinators love this thing. You should, if you have a sunny place, this is a good plant to grow. Help nature, get outside, help yourself. Okay, next. So I don't know how well this is going to turn out because it is late afternoon and it's cloudy and this is in the shade, but we'll see how we do. This is Canadian ginger. I'll put the botanical name. I don't know it offhand. It's a ground cover. It's native. It spreads. I really like this plant. It's good for heavy shade. But I want to show you something interesting since we're talking about flowers that bloom in May and June. We'll see if we can get a picture of these flowers. Very cool flowers underneath the foliage. Let's take a look. Can you see that flower? Yeah, I guess it looks like it's coming out. That is very cool. Let's lift it up. That is the weirdest little flower. And these plants are just loaded with flowers. And I would think something pollinates them, some kind of insect. I don't really know. I'm going to have to look it up. I'm going to have to learn something. Find some more with flowers. Look at, oh my God, look how cute. So they call this Canadian ginger. It's really not a ginger. It's not even in the ginger family. But what a pretty ground cover. And it, it'll choke out weeds because it gets quite thick. This is a relatively young patch. Hopefully it continues to spread. So this is a neat little perennial, something new to learn about. Look it up. I'm going to look it up too. Okay. Okay, so here we have some Achillea millefolium. This is a native plant that's common throughout the Northeast, probably most of the North. Let's see if I can get it in focus because it's so white. There we go. There's a little critter on it. I'll tell you what that is in the video so we can get them. Oop, he crawled away. So this is a plant that a lot of insects use for nectar. I'm sure some for pollen. I get a lot of little bees on it. You don't generally see a lot of big bees on it, but it's an important native plant. I'm sure it gets it's the host plant for caterpillars, for several moths, maybe even a couple of butterflies. It's really pretty. It starts blooming in May and well into June. As you can see now, this is early June. It's in full bloom. We move back a little bit. And I have a lot of it on the hill garden. It just showed up on its own. But this particular little patch I planted, somebody gave me little seedlings. And I put them in last year, little itty bitty seedlings. And this is what it looks like, 10 months later. Very, very nice plant. And it's well behaved. It's good for your garden. Now, there's a lot of cultivars that come in orange and pink and red. I don't know that our native insects recognize them as a food source. So just to be on the safe side, if I were you and you want to plant some of this in your garden, I would stick to the white. It bloomed for a long time. This will still be in bloom probably next month easily. We'll check it out when we do July's garden, but this is a good plant. Achillea millefolium, yarrow. They call it yarrow. Okay, thanks. This is Verbena simplex. I don't know, it's been so windy and it's so tiny and it's hard to get it in focus. It's so beautiful. See if I can get it. Oh, I don't know why. There we go. Finally. It's a really pretty little flower. Oh yeah, the wind is not cooperating. Maybe in here it's a little less windy. Try holding them. Oh, that's better. So it's really a beautiful little flower. And we move back a little bit. You can see the whole patch of them. A little problematic to grow like in this type of garden, on my hill garden, because it doesn't like competition. So I have to make sure all the more aggressive plants don't give it a hard time. It's important in that it blooms early. There's lots of little pollinators that like it. I understand there's a couple of bees that are specialists on verbena. I have 3 species of verbena growing in here, white verbena, and over here is verbena stricta, which I'm having a problem with cutworms, but this is the thing, we want cutworms. It's a caterpillar for a moth, and we want these because the birds need to eat them, but then they eat my freaking plants. But whatever, we'll learn to live with it. But so we can get them in focus again. Very nice. This verbena simplex, easy to grow from seed, very easy. So the original seeds I bought from Prairie Moon Nursery, and now I just saved. It makes 1,000,000 seeds by the end of the season. Let's see if we can get a nice shot of all of it. It's a nice patch of it, and I love this little plant. You know, nothing eats it. Deer don't eat it. Deer don't eat verbena for whatever reason. That's a good thing. And oh, you know, I have some verbena bonariensis that just grow here. That's not a native plant here, but it blooms really, really late into the season, and the pollinators like it. So I let it be. But here we are, getting focus again if we can. Maybe not. Jeez, there it is. Yay, verbena simplex. Nice plant. If you have it likes it hot and dry, sunny. If you have a spot like that, you know, you should grow some of this. Okay, next. Okay, so here are 2 of the other species of penstemon that I have in my gardens. The taller white one is digitalis, penstemon digitalis. Foxglove beard's tongue, I believe. And these shorter, pinker ones are penstemon calicosus, calico penstemon, calico beard's tongue, perhaps. And the reason that they're mixed together is, you know, I collected the seed at a public garden 2 years ago in the fall, and they had them separate and marked separately. I collected the seed obviously in the fall, so I kept them separate. But when I went back and checked the area the following spring, I saw that they had seeded all over each other, and so they were mixed. So this is mixed. It's okay, fine. They're beautiful, and the bumblebees love them. Right now, there's several common eastern bumblebees. I'm waiting for the golden northern bumblebee to show up. They've been regulars here. If I see them, we'll try to get them. And these are great plants. You know, like I said earlier, with the other variety, the other species, with the hairy penstemon, they're evergreen. These are in the shade. They're under a tree right here. They've been blooming now for a couple of weeks, so bloom for a couple of weeks more. They're really important foraging for the bumblebees. And, you know, the hummingbirds. I don't get a lot of hummingbirds this early in the season, but the few that are around will come to these flowers. You know, if they love this tubular type of flower, they can stick their beak in, and there's nectar in there for them. You know. So this is, or these are another species of penstemon that you should be growing. You really should have this plant in your garden. You know, just absolutely beautiful, and really important for the bumblebees and hummingbirds. Especially if you're a little south of here, the hummingbirds are around already. So this is a great plant. Penstemon. All right, we're going to go look at the volunteer that came up with the purple foliage and the red stems and the pretty pink flowers that just came out of nowhere, just started growing here. We'll go take a look at them. A lot of traffic today. It's a nice day. There is my golden northern bumblebee. enjoying the nectar in these penstemon. Probably can't hear me. So this is the volunteer. Very pretty. I don't know where it came from. It just grew here. And you can see it has these pink flowers. Gonna have to look up red-leafed cultivars, see if I can find a match for it. But I don't know if you can see, the foliage is really red, the stems are red. It's gorgeous, you know. And I've had bumblebees on it, so the bumblebees recognize it as something that that they can eat, you know. So this is the deal. This is what retirees can do. You can use your brain, go online, learn about bumblebees. They're in big trouble. Learn what plants they really need, especially the endangered ones or the threatened ones, like the golden northern that I showed you earlier in this video. That's pretty exciting. And I had never seen one of those for ever, I think, until I got this garden going, and now every year there's more and more. So that's a good thing, you know. That's what we want to do. So you can help nature. You're retired, you have time, you can grow native plants that bumblebees need, and grow them on your porch. If you had this in a pot on your porch, bumblebees would come, and perhaps some species that are in trouble, you know. So, all right, that being said, think about growing penstemon. Look it up online, find out what species grow in your area, and retire for nature. All right, thanks. Hit like, subscribe. I'll keep making these videos if you like them. And hopefully we can do our tiny little bit to help save some of the animals on this planet that are really endangered. We can do some good before we go. Okay, thanks a lot. We'll see you soon, I hope.